Hello everyone and welcome to EduSearch Clinics. I am Dr. Gunjan Desai and today we are going to discuss a very important topic when it comes to colorectal cancer, and that is the molecular pathways and the molecular subtypes, how they develop, what are the three important pathways that we see that lead to colorectal cancer in hereditary cases as well as in sporadic cases, and how these molecular subtypes are also defining treatment. So, as we all know, colorectal cancer arises from basically three different pathways. One is the chromosomal instability pathway or the CIN pathway. And if you have heard of FAP or familial adenomatous polyposis, then that is through this pathway. Accounts for 65 to 70% of sporadic CRC, and it is characterized by structural and numerical chromosomal anomalies. The second important pathway is microsatellite instability pathway or the MSI, accounts for 15 to 20% of sporadic CRC and 95% of Lynch syndrome. It is characterized by defective DNA mismatch repair. And the third pathway, not commonly heard by many of our students, but it is an important pathway and leads rise and it gives rise to the serrated polyposis syndrome, accounts for up to 20 to 30% of sporadic CRC. It is characterized by epigenetic silencing via promoter hypermethylation. So now coming to the CIN or the chromosomal instability pathway, which drives the majority of sporadic tumors, it is defined by the rapid gain or loss of large parts of genetic materials. These mutations are responsible for correct chromosomal segregation, and when the mutations happen, they result in chromosomal anomalies like aneuploidy. This chaotic genomic environment then provides the baseline for rapid mutation accumulation. So what happens in the classic adenoma-carcinoma sequence is basically the CIN molecular cascade. You see loss or mutations in various genes and how they result in formation of adenoma and then invasive carcinoma. So in normal epithelium, when there is loss of APC or adenomatous polyposis coli gene, the abnormal WNT pathway activation results in beta-catenin accumulation, and this is basically resulting in the early adenoma stage. After this, mutation in KRAS and resulting in an activated KRAS signaling pathway results in enhanced proliferation and can be seen up to late adenoma disease. And followed by this is the loss of TP53, where there is loss of tumor suppression function, and that results in uncontrolled proliferation and results in an invasive carcinoma. So like I said, APC is the most important gene when it comes to CIN pathway. We all know about the familial adenomatous polyposis syndrome or the FAP, results from a germline alteration in the APC gene, which is chromosome 5q22, predisposes to hundreds or thousands of colonic and rectal adenomatous polyposis, 100% risk of developing colorectal carcinoma, and that is why a surgical intervention with a total proctocolectomy is recommended as soon as FAP is detected. Attenuated FAP is where there are milder phenotypes of APC or exon 9. This results in 10 to 100 adenomas and a delayed onset. If you don't know about details of FAP, we are going to have a separate video on FAP where you are going to study the entire disease in detail as well as the recommended treatment options. So now coming to the second pathway, which is microsatellite instability, and you can think of this as a spell check error. And basically, they are DNA mismatch repair systems, but once they become defective, erroneous insertions, deletions, substitutions accumulate rapidly during DNA replication, especially in the repetitive tracks, and this results in effective MMR, which is an MSI high situation. Now, the four pillars of mismatch repair system are MLH1, which mutates frequently in Lynch syndrome, MSH2, which also mutates frequently, MSH6 is associated with a later onset, and PMS2 is associated with a lower overall risk. The hallmark of these proteins are basically by immunohistochemistry, and we have discussed this in another video, but you can see that important slide here. The clinical correlate of MSI is Lynch syndrome or sporadic mutation. Lynch syndrome is a germline mutation in one of these genes, that is MLH1, MSH2, MSH6 or PMS2. Accelerated adenoma-carcinoma sequence, and disease may occur in 2 years instead of 10 years in sporadic. Remember that in sporadic MSI, the mutation can also be associated with a BRAF V600E mutation, which is very rarely reported in germline mutations leading to HNPCC. Extra colonic risk is also high, as we all know, in HNPCC, which is hereditary non-polyposis colon cancer, and you can also have endometrial cancers in 30 to 50% of the patients, ovarian, gastric, urinary tract, and many other diseases that are possible. Again, we will have a separate video on Lynch syndrome, but it is important for you to remember this terminology, that when it comes to deficient mismatch repair, DMMR, that is the failure of DNA mismatch repair, it leads to microsatellite instability, which is MSI. So there is accumulation of errors in repetitive DNA sequences. So DMMR is deficient mismatch repair, MSI is microsatellite instability, DMMR is MSIH. These diseases are right-sided when it is colon, show better prognosis and respond well to immunotherapy. When we want to find out DMMR, you have to see immunohistochemistry, as it is the loss of MMR proteins, the four proteins that we already saw, whereas MSIH, it will be a PCR based assay or a next generation sequencing. We saw the CIN pathway, the FAP, and we saw the MSI pathway, sporadic as well as germline, which is the HNPCC. Now we come to the CIMP pathway, which is the epigenetic modification that modulate expression. So hypermethylation of CpG islands located in the promoter regions of genes inhibit transcription. And because of this, there is widespread epigenetic silencing, which deactivates important genes which are responsible for cell cycle regulation, apoptosis, and angiogenesis, such as P16 and MGMT. And because of this, there are epigenetic modifications that can result in cancer. So CIMP tumors primarily arise from sessile serrated polyps, and that is why this is also known as a serrated pathway, typically located on the right side of the colon. The feature that is characteristic of this disease is a saw-toothed dilated crypt. The genetic mutation that is very important here is the BRAF V600E mutation. This is the linchpin of the serrated pathway and is found in 90% of CRC arising from this route. Remember that BRAF and KRAS mutations are generally mutually exclusive, and BRAF V600E is associated with an increased cancer specific mortality. So that is something that you need to remember. Beyond these three, there are other polyposis syndromes that we know, like the hematomatous polyposis syndrome, which occurs due to mutations in the STK11 gene, that is the Peutz-Jeghers syndrome, mucocutaneous hyperpigmentation, and hematomatous polyps. BMPR1A or the SMAD4 gene mutation results in juvenile polyposis syndrome, edematous polyps with up to a 40 to 50% lifetime CRC risk. Both of these are hematomatous polyposis syndromes. You also have MUTYH associated polyposis or MAP. This is a recessive trait. So when there are biallelic variants, they block oxidative DNA damage repair, and tumors are MMR proficient but enriched with GC to TA transversions. TPAP, which is polymerase proofreading associated polyposis, very rarely seen, can be due to mutations in POL or POLD1, which is DNA polymerase proofreading pathway. This can again result in an ultra mutated phenotype, which is responsive to immunotherapy. So these are also some of the genes. We will study the hematomatous polyposis syndromes in detail in the upcoming videos on hereditary cancer syndrome. So that is something that is also important. So what we have seen so far, you have three important pathways. Remember this slide for your life if you are treating these patients. CIN is responsible for 65 to 70% of the pathways. Mechanism is mutations in multiple genes. The sequence I used to remember is AKT, okay, APC, KRAS, and TP53. Syndrome is familial adenomatous polyposis, and precursor lesion is tubular or villous adenoma. In MSI, the prevalence is 15 to 20%. It's like a spell check error or it is a mismatch repair system failure. Four important genes MLH1, MSH2, MSH6, and PMS2. Syndrome, when it is germline, is Lynch syndrome or HNPCC. Precursor lesion is again adenoma. CIMP pathway epigenetic promoter methylation seen in 20 to 30% of the cases of CRC. The important mutation is BRAF V600E, which is associated with poor prognosis. Syndrome is serrated polyposis syndrome, and precursor lesion is sessile serrated polyp. So based on this, we also have a CMS classification for molecular subtyping of colorectal cancer. CMS is consensus molecular subtype. One is like I, you can remember it that way. So one is immune, two is canonical, which is the WNT and MYC pathway, which is basically your CIN. So one is MSI, which is also associated with BRAF mutation sometimes. If it's only MSI, you have better prognosis in early stage and more responsive to immune checkpoint inhibitors. Canonical is associated with WNT and MYC, that is the CYN pathway. Mutations that are common are APC and KRAS mutations. Metabolic dysregulation is CMS3. Again, KRAS mutations are common. It is basically due to metabolic dysregulation in lipid and amino acid metabolism. Potential target are metabolic pathways, whereas in CMS2 it is standard chemotherapy. CMS4 is mesenchymal, usually has high angiogenesis, epithelial mesenchymal transition, and a TGF beta activation, which results in intense stromal invasion, and because of this it has the worst prognosis. So CMS4 is mesenchymal, 1 is immune, 2 is canonical, which is CIN, 3 is metabolic, and 4 is mesenchymal. So remember all these features very commonly as question in exam. Also important when you are treating these patients, because 1 immunotherapy, 2 chemotherapy, 3 and 4 difficult to treat, but based on mutations you can treat them. So that is how the molecular pathways result in colorectal cancer. We will also see some of these syndromes in separate videos because they are very important topics when it comes to exams as well as when you are treating these patients. Thank you.